Alright, time for another DoNotGod.com video presentation. So, YouTube took down my last video for absolutely no good reason. Clearly, just the computer saw something that doesn't exist, and somebody must have done some sort of reporting, and then the computer looks at it and says, I'm going to find something, and there's nothing. So, it's about the images in the background transition. You know, one gets blurred in and one blurs, focuses in, and they transition on top of each other. So when the two images were on top of each other, it thinks it's seeing something sexually inappropriate. So there's nothing there. So it's just bullshit. I appealed, and they just reject the appeal because nobody really looks at any of this shit. And so I figured, well, there's not much you can do. So I'll just do a video about how Google sucks, Alphabet sucks, YouTube sucks. Not that that means anything, me making these statements, but I'll just reveal the absolute truth about how these companies work and what they're guilty of and how they are just disgusting and evil companies. It's just, there's nothing good to say about letting them run the internet. Google's a menace. Alphabet, whatever the fuck it is. This whole don't be evil thing was a lie right from the very beginning. The very fact that they bought off everybody, and just shut everybody up who would have been critical, but else would have been able to explain to people what's going on while it was going on. So since I'm here and I was there when this all happened, in terms of being part of the community of people that were people watching the search industry. So back in the old days when there was, Yahoo and Alta Vista and Search the Web and Go and all kinds of different companies trying to create a presence in the idea of finding websites for you. There were a whole group of people who were watching them because there was all kinds of spammy corruption. Now they call it SEO, search engine optimization, and what it really is just shystery. It's just cheating. Try to get your company to the top of the list. Try to get your business. Try to get your interest, and it's all chicanery and lying and cheating, and so it's all quite disgusting, frankly. And so even back then, okay, there was a bunch of people in the watching movement who were actually spies, who were really just trying to do their own corruption of the internet and sell their capacity to corrupt the internet. Their ability to know how, if you knew how YouTube worked, and if you, Yahoo worked, and if you knew how Google worked, and you knew how all these different companies worked, you could sell that knowledge and essentially, make a living just spamming the search engines. All right, so anyway, but there were a lot of people who seemed sincerely interested in trying to out that whenever it happened. And then what Google did, when Google started taking over, so it's all venture capital money. So let's understand, Google lost money for 2 years. So they show up and they don't have a business model. So the business model is lose a couple $1,000,000 a year or whatever the hell it was. And probably got to be even more than that, getting late into the process. And this is basically the William Randolph Hearst, the guy from Citizen Kane, business plan. Like if you can afford to lose money every year, you can drive all your competition out of business because they don't have any fund, where they can just, we can afford to lose a couple $1,000,000 a year. They don't have some fund they can go to do that. So if they're a big company, they're not going to survive. And all the search engine companies were kind of weak. It was all venture capital, keep them going. And so they had more debt than they had income. And so they were in a real vulnerable position and were easy to kill. And that's what basically Google slowly did, was it strangled every company until it could buy it. Yahoo, Alta Vista, all the web, every single one of them, all of them got killed because Google used a deliberate venture capitalist evil strategy to destroy competition and take the territory. So it wasn't the best anything. It was just the fact is they were running it not as a business. They were running it as a war game. let's destroy the competition. So right there, this whole "don't be evil" thing, that's all their plan was, because they had the plan right from the beginning. So Microsoft was a player back then, okay, in terms of it had its browser, it had some advantages, blah, blah, blah. And it at one point suggested pretty much exactly what Google ended up doing. And it was kind of funny that when Microsoft suggested an idea of having the ads as a browser feature that could be injected into your web page, and then Microsoft would take half the money and you'd take half the money for the ad being displayed. The whole internet went, no, you can't do that. Microsoft is evil. But then that's exactly what Google did after it went public. So, just to make the game, just to make sure that you made sure that you knew exactly what the game was. It was all about creating, monopolizing the territory, owning the territory, going public, and then revealing the fact that you're going to impose this insidious, I'm going to put ads on everybody else's websites on the internet, and Google's going to get half the money, or some percentage of the money anyway. And nobody said anything. There was barely a peep from the crowd, and, and it was just exactly, if somebody else had done it, they'd be the evilest people on earth. If Google did it, it was all okay somehow. And clearly it just led to all of these fake web pages, because now there's pages where it's, there's a real advantage to stealing content. Put up your own page, put Google ads on it, make some money, then you just take it down, run away. So, it just created a whole bunch of plagiarism and theft on the internet. And Google makes money on all of it. And they're making money right now, selling absolute crap. It's just an advertising company. That's all they really do is sell advertising. One of the, it's the heat. It's this incredible waste engine advertising. There's no real value in it. It doesn't really educate anybody. It really doesn't inform. It doesn't make better purchasing power in any kind of way. It's just a huge amount of energy wasted trying to manipulate and steal each other's money. And it's an exercise in the worst of human behavior on its face. And then Google has emphasized that by having these YouTube commercials that are absolute garbage. I mean, they're lowest of the low. So I'll have another clip after this that'll show some of that. But I mean, this one selling this fake dog thing that's just a piece of garbage. Then you got all these pink salt things and all this other stuff to cure your diseases. And, if you're a black man, you can't get diabetes, and it's a white conspiracy that, Whitey is trying to make black people think they can get diabetes when black people can't get diabetes. I mean, some of it's racist. It's all disgusting. It's lowest common. I can't even call it lowest common denominator. It's low denominator. It's just finding the lowest, dumbest crap to spew. And yes, you'll find some sucker who will find that compelling or interesting in some way and just steal their money. Steal money from the dumbest people on this planet. Steal money from, older people who have sort of, lost their connection to reality. And that's all this is. This is just the cheapest kind of business practices, this slimy company. That plays with other people's fates here with their free speech and throws it in the garbage and doesn't give a shit about any kind of thing called respect. They should have years ago set up some kind of system where you could actually pay them to be able to communicate with somebody. Okay, I'll pay you $100 a year, $10 a month, whatever, and I have the right to be informed what the hell you're doing with my channel, what the hell you think I can or can't do, and give me some sort of rational description of what the policy is, not some vacant policy that doesn't mean anything. You can't possibly enforce it rationally or fairly. It's just nonsense. So anyway, just disgusting ads that they're obviously showing that this model isn't really working, that they ought to come up with some better way to do this business of providing a platform. And they never knew how to do it because it was never designed to be what it's called. YouTube was never about YouTubing. All right, it was about another conspiracy of a couple of guys who figured they could hide copyright theft. They could steal a bunch of copyright material, put it online, get a whole bunch of eyeballs, and sell the piece of shit company that did that. And that's exactly what they did. They had a huge insurance fund that actually had to be, when they sold it to Google, money had to be put up just in case there was a lawsuit, because all of it was just theft. And then when it went to court, Google obviously paid off the judge or whatever they did, because they admitted everything. Everything was admitted, how the whole company was never YouTube. It was always Steal Content Tube. That was the whole motivation. The whole construction of the company was to steal copyright material. The companies that lost money, I think the company that ended up buying most of those dead assets, so to speak, the assets that were stolen, was Viacom, and there was another company with a V name. Anyway, they should have won the lawsuit by a mile, because every single fact indicated that yes, YouTube was just a sham, just to steal content, and somehow the judge says no. And so you're just saying, why bother having judges? Why bother having a justice system? When the guy's got the bloody knife in his hand, there's a video of him stabbing the person. I mean, you have every piece of evidence, and they say no crime. So it's just bullshit. It's all this stuff. It's all bullshit. They get convicted and they never pay anything. They never fix anything. They never do anything. The whole system is just so broken and corrupt. And, it's just bullshit. And it's just sad that so many people just go along with this crap. I mean, there should be enough unsettled folks out there squealing that it leaks into the politics a little, and they realize that we don't want this company controlling the internet. I don't want Google deciding what I can see on the internet, and that's what it's doing right now. Right now, it's controlling what you can see and what I can see. It's giving you a different internet than it's giving me. It's profiling us, trying to design content for us. Its whole purpose is to see what it can trigger you by, see what it can manipulate you with to sell you something. Okay, and that's all it's out to do. It's not providing the internet. Okay, it's censoring the internet. It's secreting it and deciding who gets it and who doesn't. Is that what the world you want to live in? A world where some dopey corporation 3 levels deep in bureaucracy is going to decide what you call the internet, what you get to say is the internet, what you can search as the internet. Google says it's got 1 million references when you search for something. It's a big fat fucking lie. They should be in court for that alone. The very fact that they claim, oh, there's 2 million references, or but when there's 250. Because if you actually go try to look at any of the others, you'll never find more than those 250. Okay, there's never going to be a page 10 or 11, 12 that has new, you'll see the old stuff keep coming right back up. You see it at YouTube right now. You go do a YouTube search and you'll see the same video keep popping back up into the list. Just bullshit. Anyway. All right, so this is just a gratuitous fuck you. Okay, you're going to fuck with me, YouTube, then I'll fuck you back. Okay, so this is... that's all it is. It's just annoying to have a video taken down for no good reason. It wasn't an issue. There is no fucking issue. And it's just a bullshit that I have to waste my time fighting this kind of crap. It shouldn't happen. They should give a damn. Channels that are 20 years old, you think they'd give them enough respect, where they'd say, well, maybe we'll have a person look at it before we take a video down. I mean, really, fuck you, YouTube. Just such bullshit. Letting these stupid trolls, these fucking cranky, Falwellians, moral majority types, decide what the fuck people can see on the internet. Fuck that. So maybe that's enough. So there's a couple other video clips that actually has the other channel background. But it doesn't really matter, right? And so just going over what exactly was the image that they decided was to something that obviously isn't to anything. And then showing a couple of their own ads that are so fucking outrageously obscene. And where's their warning strike? Where's their let's take them offline? Let's take them off the internet. Because if they can't do it responsibly, if they can't control the porn they're putting up as advertisements, then why can't they be applying the same standard? They're going to take me off the internet because I didn't control something. How you mix two images together, some sort of bullshit. Then they should be taken off the internet. It's fucking hypocrites, these duplicitous corporate shits. So anyway, just saying. Hate Google, hate Alphabet, the parent company, and hate YouTube. They all deserve your hate. And maybe someday we can turn that into some sort of policy that puts this pissy shit company where it should be, in the toilet. All right, anyway. Yeah, that's enough. Fuck YouTube and such till dead and whatnot. Alright, so this is a search for YouTube puppy ad. Okay, so the first thing that comes up is they have another sponsored ad. So they have a sponsored ad for this outrageous ad, and you just have to watch this and say, okay, so this is, YouTube is okay with this. Google's okay with making money on a product that is this incredibly fake. The thing is nothing like this. They know it's not going to be anything like this. This isn't what somebody's going to get when they buy this stupid thing. It's not going to be anything like this. So they're just fooling old people, grandmothers, fooling little kids saying, oh, I want one, fooling all these people, stealing their money, and then YouTube's collecting a whole big pile of money. And so obviously it's a company that must be pretty desperate because the commercials are desperate. So, I mean, obviously, to make any money, I guess they have to resort to this kind of bullshit. But it's just, horrible bullshit. And so they care about kids, they care about community, they care about some sort of decent civilization. And this is what they'll do. They'll fool old people out of their money. They'll steal money from old grandmothers. Steal money from grandmothers. That's their business model. I mean, nobody could get away with this 30 years ago, right? If a network ran a commercial this fraudulent, this fake, this phony, all right, the whole world would have mocked them off of out of existence, okay? They wouldn't be able to survive it publicly. It'd be such a disgrace to be part of such a disgusting lie. All right, so anyway, they've been outed, so there's all these videos now actually pointing out that this piece of shit isn't what you're supposed to get, isn't what you're going to get, okay? You're going to get a $5 stuffed animal for your $29, okay? It's not going to be able to do any of the things in the picture. It's nothing like it. It's just a big lie. And so it's all true, and they keep running the ad. They keep selling the product. This is what you're going to get, this little thing in a box. Yeah, that's what you're going to get, right? I mean, that's just too cheat, all right? There's just no denying how big a lie those commercials are and what a scam the whole thing is. And YouTube's okay with it. They can get away with it. No one's going to stop them. No one's going to give them a warning strike, and then no one's going to kick them off the internet and exterminate their channel because they can do whatever the hell they want because, we don't have a decent civilization because we put Google in charge. Alphabet, this stupid, lousy, rotten corporation that couldn't give a shit about anything but making money and pretending it's not evil when, yes, everything it does is fucking goddamn evil. It turns everything into some evil scheme, okay, for it to exploit and take advantage. So, okay, they took down my video. I'll just do this video instead. So this is their payback for their dishonorable act of taking down a video that there was nothing wrong with, and it's obvious there was nothing wrong with it. And I'll show that in another clip. But all right, so I'm just gonna put this together in pieces. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a Frankenstein kind of video. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. I'll do the ending before I do the beginning. Yeah, it's my nicotine withdrawal video that they took down. And so I have to point out again that, yes, I'm going through nicotine withdrawal. So, yes, I'm a little buggy. I'm very buggy, frankly. There's another word for that. Well, there's a lot of words for that, frankly. Squirrely is one I use a lot. But there's some other word British people use. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Till the next time. Till later. Till whenever. Right. So this is just to show that their YouTube, has a bunch of display ads that are, real porn. So this is one of the little tiny images, and should be small enough to keep me out of trouble, I suppose. But it's quite obvious, okay, what's taking place, and it's quite pornographic. And I don't see YouTube accepting getting strikes. It does it for a month or more. So this has been going on for a whole month, where these display ads get through that are just overtly pornographic. And, nothing. There's no price that YouTube pays for its bad behavior. And they strike me for no bad behavior. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything different anyway. So anyway, this is what they're, you do a search with the word porn on YouTube, and this is what they give you. And, none of these videos play in any way. I mean, they don't play, by mousing over them, but it is just kind of funny that obviously, they have a real problem with a bunch of content of their own content being violations of community standards, and but I don't think they get any strikes. Yeah. Oh, blur off. So let's see what they look like actually. Okay, I didn't know I could do that. Yeah. So let's see if anybody else is. Yeah. See, so this guy's got one right there. So display ad, and that's from how long ago? 2 months ago. Still happening today. So they haven't done anything about preventing it or stopping it. So obviously they've had some problem with porn on these short videos. Yeah, I don't see anything duplicating the ad thing as much, but anyway. So yeah, lots of violations by YouTube, frankly, in terms of the content it endorses and provides access to, and yet, if I'll show you the damn fucking image there for my video that they took the video down for. Okay, just took the video down because of this, silly image. So anyway, sorry, I'm using the physics channel. Yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing that. Oh, I guess that other, yeah, it should have displayed. Okay, all right. So I'll pause for a second. All right, so here's the image that my video was taken down for, and I was given a warning for, even after an appeal. And it's just so silly because you can obviously see that there's two images overlapping each other. So one of them is an alligator's eye, and the other one are the background images that are in all my videos. So obviously, I guess somewhere in here it looks like something pornographic is going on or something, but it's so unspecific, unrecognizable. It's just bullshit. I mean, obviously no human looked at this and said, oh yeah, that's pornography, or that's too much. So obviously it wasn't looked at by a person, so this appeal process doesn't mean anything. It's just a sham court. Get prosecuted by the AI, and that's it. And you appeal to an AI. And they don't. And I don't even understand how the AI could see a violation here that's specific enough. I mean, what exactly is it picking up on? Because there's nothing there. I mean, just if you play the video, it just continues from this point to be just the alligator's eye. So there's obviously no chance that it's one of the background images. So it's just the alligator's eye and this, where the two are overlapped. But it says right there the time code. I mean, there's nothing there. All right, so let me put the other better image up and see. All right, so yeah, that's it. So there's nothing, there's really nothing there. So you can see that it's just it's just because of the fact that the two images ended up overlapped that you might say that's something, but I mean, I'm wearing a shirt and pants there. It just, so obviously not very, you can't see any idea of what exactly they're picking up. I mean, the front end of my car, I don't know. What's triggering this silly, frankly. And again, if you appeal, they should be able to, fix it. It shouldn't be that the appeal is just a waste of time. But it was obviously a waste of time. There's nothing in that image that's any kind of community standard violation. Of course, there's no such thing as any community standard anyway. These are just trolls deciding who can publish on the internet. And everybody should be offended that the fascist companies join in and become fascist. Whether it's the fascist on the left or the fascist on the right, they should both be everyone's enemy. Nobody should like people who hang out with fascists, I guess, is the argument. But anyway, it's just really disappointing that you got to waste your time and got to waste worry on content that really shouldn't be an issue. And it's only made an issue because people have haters, and somehow Google doesn't understand that haters are dangerous, that they're going to make a mess of your algorithm. But anyway, all right, I'll no doubt have more to say, and I'll say it later and such.